What's up, guys? It's Light Squirrel here, and today I've got a video experimenting with a team that I actually have not tried, but I'm thinking it's going to work, and we'll see soon if it will work or not. And it's a team where I'm going to be using Mav, the Wind Penguin Knight here, as a solo cleanser. Now, I feel part of the reason I thought of this was because a lot of people, when they think of Mav, they think of him as first he's like the TOA, like god kind of, or one of them, and then his third skill does the speed buff and decreases cool turns by 1. So it's nice so you can get your skills back up quick, but not a lot of people, I feel like, remember that he also removes a harmful effect from everyone. So in this case, if the giant crystals puts defense break on us, Mav will be able to cleanse it if he uses the skill. Now, the downfall of this and why it's going to be kind of risky to run this is because Mav's AI is going to use this skill whenever it's up. He's not going to wait for the defense buff or defense break on to cleanse it. That's why Vero's so popular, is because he will never derp. Like every skill, he's guaranteed to use the cleanse. So that's why he's really popular. And then Kona is also popular, although Kona can derp. The cleanse is used as a cleanse or a heal, whereas this skill is not going to be used as a cleanse. It's just always going to be used whenever it can be. So there's a chance I'll use this skill, and then right when I use it, the defense break comes on me, and this team could definitely wipe. But we'll see. I'll get the run started, and I'll explain why I picked this team. So first of all, they're all farmable except the Wuchi. Well, Mav's not technically farmable, but Nat 3s, most people consider them farmable anyways. But the way I picked this team was, A, it's easily obtainable, so a lot of people are going to be able to make this team or something similar to it. But the Mav is the speed buff, and the cooldown turns is also nice, and then the cleanse, like I said. And then the first two skills are useful in the first stages, but literally don't do a single thing on the boss. So Mav doesn't do too much for the boss except like his third skill. And then Spectra is there for the AoE speed debuff, which is going to go really well with Wuchi. Wuchi has 2 attack gauge decreasing skills, as well as his first skill is going to do a attack buff and glancing hit on the boss, but it's only 1 turn, so that's where like Bernard does the 2 turn, which is super nice, and this guy only does 1 turn. But Darian's second skill will also do the speed debuff, or not the attack debuff, as well as his passive will decrease damage. So there's that, and then he also has a defense break first skill, and Bella will do a defense break, a buff strip, and a heal. So basically the plan with this team is that I'm going to basically try and limit the amount of turns, especially the right crystal, which is the defense break crystal, gets. At least I think it's whichever crystal is a defense break. That's why there's the Spectra and the Wuchi, is because hopefully those crystals aren't going to get to go too much, because although Mav could be a cleanser, I know that he's not going to be too reliable on his cleanses, so I don't want to like bank on having Mav keep defense break off of our team. So that's kind of like the logic between it. Of course, Wuchi and Mav at 6-star would help, but these guys are all tanky enough to survive in Giants B10. Spectra even. The only way I could see any of these guys dying is, well, A, if they get the defense break, and, well, just like, the normal Giant stuff. If you get defense break and the boss attacks you without an attack debuff, your team's going to wipe. This team has no defense buff, but it does have attack debuff and it does have strip. So if all goes smoothly, this team should be able to win. But of course, sometimes things don't go smoothly. Like there is a chance, even though every monster here is max accuracy for Giants B10, there is still a chance that the boss is going to put defense break on my whole team, and then he will have attack buff with no defense break, because my Bella could still get resisted by chance, my Darian and Wuchi could still get resisted by chance, and then he could crit all of us. So it is theoretically possible this team could just get wiped, as well as the counterattacks. If my team gets counterattack, especially when there's a defense break on my team, counterattack is going to be very bad news. But I'd say it's a pretty cool little team. The whole, what's it called? Skill cooldown turn is something that I think is really cool that Mav has. And what it's going to basically do is it's going to make it so my Darien has more chances to land the attack debuff. Spectra is going to be able to use that backlash skill more to make sure speed debuffs on the whole team. Wuchi is going to be able to do more CC, and Bella is going to be able to do more heals if necessary, which is probably going to be necessary just because there's no defense break on this team. And then Wuchi's attack debuff, I don't think he has to crit, so that should be decently reliable, but it's only one turn. Darian's attack debuff should be decently reliable too, because he's max skilled and max accuracy, so I'm expecting this to go smooth, but I guess we'll see here in just a second. I wish Wuchi wouldn't have used that skill right there. I wish we would have saved it for the boss. So we'll have to see how things go. Okay, no attack debuff on the boss yet, and there's a defense break, and my cleanse is not close to up. Okay, there's the attack buff, or debuff. I've got my cleanse up next turn, and okay, well there goes Wuchi. See, Spectra just now used that backlash. Like, it took him way too many turns to use that. So that's kind of annoying. Let's see. And Spectra also is going to be doing the damage, even though he's not going to crit. He'll hopefully still do some damage. Okay, so I got the defense break on. Okay, well it's off now just because my bell is fast enough to just like shake it off. And if my Darien could put the attack debuff on, especially Mav didn't use his skill. Okay, well, things just didn't go right there. That was literally the situation I said earlier, where there's attack debuff and defense break on my team. It's literally like the worst situation that could have happened. So, yeah, I know this team is also kind of like a wacky team, I guess you could say. Here, to make it farmable, I can put Shaylock in there. And that's he's similar to Wuchi. Okay, let's try it like this. Because I think Mav can be a cleanser in Giants B10. I mean, like, it's not ideally a cleanser. Like, if you really want to be safe, Vero's the cleanser. Also, I've made a video. I made a new account where I made a Giants B10 team before I even made a 6-star on that account. And the full team is a farmable win team. So, it works with all 5-star monsters, and there's no cleansers in it. So I've already proven that you don't need a cleanser to beat Giants B10, but a cleanser is always nice. And I'm trying to just like mix it up. You don't hardly ever see Mav in this slot. You normally just see Bernard, and so I'm just kind of trying to mix it up with a Mav. And you don't really see Spectra in Giants B10, and it's kind of understandable given that he's fire, and this is a water dungeon. And then Shylock I feel underused. And then Darien and Bella you see all over the place. They're in everyone's Giants B10 team. But they're still good, and they're farmable, and they're nat 3s, and so I put them in here. So Shylock is also going to do some damage because I have him ruined on HP, crit damage, accuracy. That's not ideally I'd be HP, crit damage, HP, but I can't get enough accuracy with that accuracy slot 6, so I have him on accuracy. So we'll see how fast I can. Well, this team isn't going to be too fast, but it should be faster with Shylock than with the, what's it called? The Wuchi. I was thinking the Wuchi would probably work better, but Shylock has another buff strip. That's what made me think to put him in here, because we died, like the boss had attack buff, no attack debuff, and we had defense break. So it's like, we literally just got the worst situation. And then like that Wuchi, he didn't do anything that whole boss fight. Like he put an attack debuff on for one turn, and then like he didn't even use his 3rd skill before he died. He didn't use his 2nd skill before he died. Oh no, he used his 2nd skill, but it didn't decrease the attack gauge, at least of the boss. I didn't check the towers. We'll see how this does. I don't know, there's probably going to be like a 5-minute run, I guess. There's no dots. That's what, Mav skills work great for TOA, But if he had something that could actually work on the boss and Giants, it would be better. Because Provoke and Stun both do nothing. But he does heal himself with the Provoke skill. So hopefully we can get rid of this wave kind of quick. Yeah, that Shylock did okay damage. Without defense break, he got like a third, quarter of their health, somewhere in there. That's not terrible. I'm looking at the crystals too, not the golems. Because for you guys that don't know, Shylock's third skill scales on the enemy's max HP. But so when you fight a defense unit, their max HP is not that high and their defense is high. So of course they're not going to do too much damage on defense type. So hopefully, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Hopefully we can get a heal for Spectra. Okay, so this will end any second now. And we'll see if this boss stage works. Yeah. Okay, so I got the speed debuff already, got the attack down. Yeah, so it is the right crystal that is defense break. So we'll see how many turns this right crystal is going to get, because hopefully I'm going to be limiting it somewhat. Wuchi's way better for AoE CC than Shylock. Because right now, Wuchi, if he was in here, he could decrease it all the way. Okay, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Right before the right tower moved, Mav used his Tail of Wind. What is the skill called? Let me pause this. I'll heal. Okay, what's the skill called? Wings of Wind, that's what it's called. He used his Wings of Wind right before the right tower went. But so the right tower's only gone once so far. And it's going to go again soon, though. But it looks like this might be timed perfectly. If my Mav can go... Yeah, okay, that one was actually timed perfect. So this run went fairly smooth. Things could have went wrong, but I think the Giant even counterattack crit on my Shylock. But it still it worked when the defense break was on my Shylock. Maybe he didn't crit. But that was 4 minutes, so it's actually, it's not even too bad. Well, so right there, that one run proved that Mav can potentially be your one and only Giants B10 cleanser. This team is completely farmable if you count Mav as farmable. It's very orthodox, I guess you could say. It's a weird team, and I mean there's a reason it's a weird team. It's because it's not the world's safest or best team. It is all not threes, but it's a weird kind of team because you never see Mav, Spectra, or Shylock in Giants B10. And I mean, like I said, Mav, Darien, they're everywhere. But normally, instead of this kind of team, you would use Vero would do the cleanse, Bernard would do the speed buff, and then what's it called? Shannon does the speed debuff and also gives you a defense buff and a glancing hit. So I mean, like the reality is like the standard cookie cutter Giants team, which would be like this. This is a better team. It's safer. It's less rune requirements. Vero's never gonna derp on the cleanse. It's safer. But if you are feeling like you want to do something different than what is standard, or if you just don't feel like farming those monsters, I showed you this team worked at least 1 for 1. I'm not going to do a million runs and test it out because this is an unpractical team that too many people aren't going to build anyways. So that's really all I have for this video. I'll show you the runes on this team that actually worked. So here's the Mav. You can see the stats. I'm not going to go over each rune, but because I want to do this quick. There's the Mav. There's the Shylock. It's just on Swift, and you can pause it whenever. Here's the Spectra, Blade, Energy, or no, it's just Blade, Focus, and then a broken set. Here's my Bella, a Violent set, and then my Darien. This is not how I'd recommend ruining Darien. I have Darien on frontline on raid, so I have him really high defense, but his base defense is super low anyways, so, that's 1,500 defense is not great, and that much HP is not great. Ideally, you would do more HP and less defense. So, in case you guys do want to use Darien on something other than raid R5 frontline. But that's all I have for today, though, guys. Be sure to tell me in the comments if there's anything else you want to see. And that's all I have for today. So may the best of your todays be the worst of your tomorrows.